Hello and welcome to the MTG-Profits podcast. This is episode 16. Happy to have you with us today. As always, we're here to talk about Magic the Gathering and talk about that in terms of the finance aspect of that and making money with that, buying and selling of cards. We'll also cover other things in the news and also give you some of our picks to check out and purchase, which we think are good investments going forward. As always, I'm joined by my co-host here, Devin.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, Dev.
Doing a little better today. My voice is getting back to semi-normal.
You sound a little bit better.
A little bit. I'm getting there. So I figure I won't have to be as Johnny on the spot with my mute button to stop my wretched hacking and save the viewer or the listeners from my horrible sounding cough.
And as always, as a reminder, check us out every Thursday. We've got new episodes that drop every Thursday. Episodes are also recorded and available on YouTube. And check out the website as well, MTG-Profits.com. We've got links to news and our picks and all that other good stuff.
Absolutely.
So I think we have a bunch of things in the news this week to cover. Lots of news, it seems, in just the last couple of days, too.
Yeah, seems like it. Yeah. You were telling me about the new mechanic that had dropped recently for the clan, for the guild we just did.
Absolutely, yeah. This actually came out literally today, so we were recording this on Monday, December 17th. And it was actually featured today. A new mechanic was announced for Ravnica Allegiance. And we've talked about Ravnica Allegiance and our picks for that as we've been examining the different guilds. And this is a new signature mechanic. And this is for Rakdos. And it's called Spectacle. And the idea with Spectacle is that you may cast this card for its Spectacle cost rather than its mana cost if an opponent lost life this turn. So to give you an example, there's the Rafter Demon, and he has a Spectacle cost of 5 mana. And when Rafter Demon enters the battlefield, if Spectacle cost was paid, each opponent discards a card. And his regular cost was only 4 mana. So it seems the Spectacle is a higher cost if you want to do the Spectacle cost. So it's a higher cost, and your opponent has to have lost life this turn.
Oh, is that right? For the Spectacle, it requires the life loss?
It requires a life loss. So you have to. So a couple conditions there. We'll have to see what the cards are. I mean, it's thematically, it does seem to work for Rakdos. Making a spectacle and these demons and crazy fanatics and things like that. So I can understand that. And it seems like a lot of these are still drawing on the same type of mechanics in the past, just had a strong discard theme. I'm sure we'll see some other things that are similar as well.
Yeah. Maybe we'll end up getting some more demons, because I think, weren't you saying the other day how you were looking for more demons in Standard because you were trying to get a little combo going, but there weren't enough demons.
Exactly. I think if everyone remembers Liliana's contract, I think it is, if you have, I believe it's 4 or more demons, you win the game.
Yeah, the alt win.
Yeah, an alt win condition. But you can't, as far as I will double check, but as far as I'm aware, you can't actually pull that off in Standard today because there's not 4 demons with different names. That's the condition. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 4 or more demons with different names, you win the game. As far as I'm aware, I believe there's only 3 different demons in Standard now. So I'm not sure what you're gonna do on that.
Maybe you could cheese it, because I think there's the Demon of Catastrophes, right? He's awesome.
Demon of Catastrophes, yeah.
And then there was that Belzenok.
Yep, he's number 2.
And then the third one is... Oh, gosh.
There's one more.
Oh, the Demon, the Soothsayer, right? Or the Doomsayer.
Yes, yep. He's the third.
And then, the only way...
His price has continued to drop down.
I saw that, yeah. I was thinking that maybe you could create that demon token with
Doom
that
Whisperer. Doom
the
Whisperer.
Doom Whisperer, yeah. You create the demon token with the that rite of Belzenok or whatever, where it's like you get two sacrificial clerics, and you get two more clerics, and then boom, you get the demon into play after. So that might pull it off for you.
Is it actually I guess it is a 6/6 black demon creature. So yeah, I guess you could do it that way.
Although maybe it doesn't have a name. I don't know. Maybe it has to have names. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's a good question.
I have to read that Liliana's contract again.
Yeah, it just says 4 demons with different names.
Okay.
So I don't know if that
may not cut
or not. That'd be an interesting test to see on the arena if that would work.
yeah, that's a good point.
See what it does.
Well, in any event, the Rakdos will probably be giving us some more demons. So
I think that's a fair assumption, and we know already the Rafter demon is coming, so that's definitely one. So you get your 4.
You do seem to get the demons in that color. It seems to me like even their lord was the demon. Rakdos himself. So it's probably a safe bet that we'll get imps and demons and little devils out of the Rakdos clan guild.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I'm not blown away by this spectacle. It seems like a higher cost for, a moderate to low bonus. But we'll see. We'll see. Maybe there's some better spectacle.
Sometimes that incremental card advantage can really make a difference. Sometimes, though.
I guess it gives you another opportunity later game to, I don't know, get a little bit more benefit from something.
Exactly.
But we'll see. We'll see. We'll keep positive on that, I guess.
Yeah, see how it goes. Yep. I had read a little bit earlier about Artifact. I think we had mentioned Artifact in passing 1 or 2 episodes ago, the Richard Garfield collaboration with Steam, or Valve, I should say, who owns Steam-powered, very commonly used way to acquire and play games on PCs. And he created a mechanically rich card game called Artifact. Richard Garfield did, I guess. And they released it on Steam for a seemingly relatively low price tag of $20. And,
$20.
That doesn't sound bad, but apparently there's also card purchasing as well. So it's sort of eschewing the typical model of free to play and then pay to win, which is, like every other card game. At least on all these digital games, effectively, free to play but pay to win. And so instead of doing that, they've got you got to pay a little to play and pay a little more to continue playing, or to get better cards. So I think it's severely hampered their ability to generate player base. So I think their peak was on the weekend of release or something. They had 57,000 units users, and apparently they've dropped down to 27,000. So it's been an unfortunate precipitous drop. And I think sometimes it's hard to come back from that. I would anticipate they'll frantically switch to pay to free to play.
Yeah.
But it may be too late, because sometimes you lose that critical mass, and then you lose the goodwill of the players that didn't like that and left.
Exactly. I looked at this just the other day because I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, well, maybe I'd like to try this out and see how it is. And then first I saw the $20, which I was automatically balked at. And
it would be one thing if it included all the cards and you could just build away. That would be fine. I don't mind paying for the game if that is the game.
Yeah, I balked at that, and then I started reading through some of the reviews.
Yeah,
and I was like, well,
they're not glowing.
No, the overall review status is mixed, but there's a lot of negative ones here. I mean, I'm looking at them right now here. Weibo says pay to play, and that was his only comment.
Although I don't know how much you can trust a Weibo. So
no, XChris00 says this is a pay to have, pay to play, and pay to win game with zero game and deck progress for players who want to play, quote, free. That has not any features or modes which will intrigue you, I assume he means intrigue you, to play as other games do. If you're willing to pay some money, you can buy specific cards and make specific spelled wrong decks, which are practically and literally unbeatable. Zero challenge, zero strategy. That's my opinion after 72 hours of playing.
Jeez.
Very disappointed.
It is unfortunate, but I think they should try to maximize the amount of new players, probably by having it some sort of free model, a freemium model, so to speak.
Yeah. I see several people call it shard effect too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
It's like, no way I'm playing shard effect anymore.
Oh, that's funny. That's a shame. I like the idea of more and varied card games.
I do too.
I don't know how intensely I would pursue them. Because then there's always the time limitation that we've discussed before. You may have the funds to play these things, but you don't have the time to play them.
Exactly. How do you have the time to play anything and collect the cards and keep up on the decks and all this kind of stuff? And I guess I'm a little skeptical too about the actual nature of this game, where it's like based on DOTA and I guess having lanes to fight through and creeps that spawn and things like that. That sounds great as DOTA, and we've played those kind of games tons. But as in a card game format, I don't know if I'm sold on that.
I think that would be the thing I'd have to probably try it before I poo-pooed it fully. Because it'd be sort of like you playing three mini hands is my impression of how that.
Yeah.
I don't know, and I think in real life that would be cumbersome, but digitally it may not be. And then because it does all the shuffling for you and it holds all your hands, and that might actually not be may not actually be a bad mechanic. Mechanically speaking, it's something that I could see having potential. I don't automatically dislike it, but
I'd say I would try it, but just I don't know. My first perception is I don't know, not positive.
Yeah,
it feels too a little gimmicky as well. Like, well, DOTA, people love that. Let's just make a game that's kind of like that.
You wonder too if they're trying to get some people that are interested in the esports to shift to this card esport. So I agree there. I'm sure there's probably some relatively blatant and not super hidden attempt at crossover interest, which is probably not bad marketing. I really don't disagree with that in theory. As long as the game is good, I almost don't really care. But I haven't plunked down the $20 to actually play, so I don't. I don't know. And now that it seems like they're reaching indie game levels of player base, it's like, oh boy, that's tough to, that's tough to stomach. It's tough to power through that, I think. Especially if you're going to have some people that are, really competitive and just dominating it with cards they've bought, and then me who doesn't care to spend too much on it.
Exactly.
One aspect of the game that I did think was quite interesting, and I think it should be praised and lauded for, is that apparently when you sell these cards into their digital marketplace, you actually get money, like cash dollars, into your Steam account. So if you get a card that's worth $10 and you sell it on the Steam system, $10 goes into your Steam account. That I think is glorious.
That's kind of cool.
So it's like if you've got a card that you popped in a pack that you don't want or it doesn't go in your deck, you're like, wow, this is a valuable card. Let me sell this bad boy, and then get actual money into your Steam account and use it to purchase Steam sales or whatever it is that you use. But I thought that was really great, and I love the idea of a secondary market, and I loathe the idea of a non-secondary market. It's one of my peeves about the arena is that you can't trade your damn cards with anybody. It's a trading card game. It's like TCG, trading card game. So I know they want to move away from that to make you buy maximum crap from Wizards, but for God's sake, it's like half the draw of this game when I started was trading the cards.
Yep. Yeah.
Which is kind of a shame because I still feel the draw, the pull of trading, but But
Absolutely.
even though I mostly use my money to trade, but so it's like I'll buy and sell
Yeah.
cards. I'm not actually trading, but I like at least the concept of being able to do so. Or even in excuse me, I
Yeah.
missed the mute on that one. But even the even in whatchamacallit, Hearthstone, which I haven't played for years, but
Yeah.
you could dust your cards and turn them into
Yep.
scrap, and then like use the scrap pieces to generate more stuff. Like at least you could do something with cards you didn't like,
Yeah.
instead of putting them in the nebulous vault.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. As said by Colin Nark, this is not a card game. This is a credit card game. So
That's funny.
maybe the Colin Nark is correct.
Maybe he's on to something.
Yeah. So I guess we'll keep tabs on it, but doesn't look like it's doing so hot right now.
Yeah. On other trading card game news, I know you had played the Key Forge a little bit, and people have been going crazy. The hype train has been riding high, although I haven't heard as much about it after release. But one thing I did want to mention to the listeners is that apparently you have to be careful a little bit on repacks for this game. So
Oh.
apparently there's a problem with the actual physical cardboard box. They can be opened from the bottom and resealed and look exactly as if they have never been opened.
Wow.
So
Interesting.
apparently there's no internal wrapper on those things, and they can be resealed. So you got to really watch it. So
Man, that's not good.
yeah, so just be aware of that, and when buying these things secondhand, they may have been searched. So
Hmm. Wow.
so. Just along the lines of warnings to the listeners, you watch
Sure.
out. You don't want to buy mapped packs in Magic, and you don't want to buy a searched box in Keyforge.
Yeah, exactly. Hmm.
And speaking of searched packs, did you see the video? It was one of the Alpha Investments videos. It was like the disastrous opening of a $10,000 revised booster box. Did you
You
see
know,
that?
I saw the headline of it, but I did not check it out.
So apparently, what had happened was at GP Vegas, open boosters who did the actual pack cracking
Hmm.
opened a booster box that Daniel Chang from Vintage Magic had purchased at the GP.
Okay.
And they had all inspected the box. It looked all legit.
Yeah.
These guys have extensive experience in older packs and
Okay.
older boxes. So they opened the stuff up, and apparently while they were opening some of the packs, it came to light that there was a mild concern that they may have been actually repacked and reboxed
Oh
and
my.
resealed. And apparently some of the booster packs didn't have rares, and some of them had the wrong number of uncommons as
Wow.
well. So there was thought that they had possibly been repacked, but but it was all filmed, so all of it was
Yeah.
filmed continuously, and so it turns out it looks like it may have actually just been some form of packaging error, because there were some
Huh.
dual lands in there, and were
Okay.
some high dollar cards, but
Sure.
it was like the first 6 packs. It looked really suspicious. Like
Yeah.
the first pack had an uncut corner in one of the cards.
Oh
One of the
my.
rares had an uncut corner, and so it's just sort of funny. And
Hmm.
speaking of repacks,
And
but
quality. Yeah.
yeah, but excuse me, but so that was just a little piece of interest.
Interesting. Interesting. Hmm. I would you would think if someone was doing it maliciously that they would and were smart enough to be able to do the actual repackaging, that they wouldn't make stupid mistakes like that.
Yeah, it's true. Like leaving an uncut thing in there, or like leaving no rare in the
Yeah.
pack, or stuff like that. But apparently, back in the day, they had such a thing called the island rare. I don't know if you're aware of that term.
No, I haven't heard that.
But every once in a great while, a land rare, a land of basic land, would occupy the rare slot
Oh
in
wow.
some of these older packs, and they'd call it the island rare.
Hmm.
So,
Feel that
but
that's probably happened to me a lot.
You know, I probably just get the I just get the garbage dump rares.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many of those revised packs I opened and how
My word.
disappointed I was 99% of the time.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I mean, I opened a myriad of those things, and I don't really, even to this day, like I don't know how many of those packs I opened. It was probably what felt like a substantial number of packs, and to this day, I don't have anything of high value of revised. Although I will say, I did sell my dual lands back,
Mhm.
unfortunately, like a long time ago for like $70 tops. So
Yeah,
you know, I think I might have a couple floating around, but nothing, nothing worth more than like $1,000.
sure, sure.
If
Hmm.
I did, I might sell. So,
Yeah, I would dump it
yeah.
myself, but you know. I guess speaking of card games too, we talk about Arena off and on. There's some Arena news lately as well. So we know that there was a big update. I believe it was December 13th, last Thursday, to the game, and this was adding in ranked play. And there was a big uproar about this. The issue was they added in ranked play, but they did not do it best of three, which was what people anticipated and what would people think that would be a little bit more fair. They kept it strictly as a best of one, so people are very upset about it. And Wizards quoted that 97% of the time that's what people want to play is best of one. Well, if you give people just
According to
best of
Wizards.
one, yeah, best of one game modes, well, yeah, that kind of does make that happen. So
People keep choosing this choice every time, even though it's the only choice we give them. They
exactly.
have shown that they like it.
Oh, so
Yeah,
yeah,
so
people
stupid.
were it's caused a huge uproar, and that was for ranked play and also affected constructed tournaments, and the end result of this too is a massive prize cut for players, with very valuable individual reward cards being removed in favor of slightly more gold. So people were not happy about this. So there was some heavy complaining going on, and they rolled it back. So they changed the roll back, so it's back to how it was. Uh, I'm sure there's more changes to come. They're obviously still working at this system and trying to figure it out. And this ranked play was supposed to be, for seasons of 1 month at a time.
Wow, that's a
And
very short season. My
yeah,
goodness.
yeah. One month at a time. You had all these levels that you would go up in that time. From bronze all the way up to mythic or whatever level. Uh,
It's funny. Speaking of that, I still have not gotten out of bronze.
I
I,
think I'm still in bronze too.
I I almost got out in constructed for my drafting, but I think I'm like the highest tier in bronze you can get, but
Okay.
like bronze one or whatever. But
Yeah, and I swear I was reading an article that someone had posted about the mathematics behind the ranking, and this was
I
a
did read
little
that it
while
was
ago.
super
Yeah,
challenging to get
it,
out.
it was almost impossible to really climb the ladder. It was just the number of games that you had to play was really overwhelming.
It was something like 24 games in a day, and you had to win like 8 and 21 of them or some such. It was something crazy.
Exactly. It was a system. It was that just didn't make any sense, and you would really never be able to get ahead unless you devoted days at a time at least,
Yeah.
and won basically every game all the time. So I don't know. It sounds like they just haven't figured out this ranked play yet. Uh,
At least maybe not quite.
yeah, I mean, we'll see how they do on that. I mean, a lot of people working on it. And it's hard to complain too much, with a free game, and if you're a casual player, maybe that doesn't mean as much or make as big a deal. But
Yeah.
I'd still like the opportunity to be able to compete if I wanted to, and have a system that's relatively fair. Hmm.
Exactly. I think that's well. At
Eh,
least I'm surprised they listened. I'm almost shocked, that they modified what they planned to do based on user feedback. That's a
Yeah.
very un-Wizards of the Coast stance to take.
It is, but it also makes me think too. And I think we talked about this that these kind of things, any kind of changes that you roll out, whether it be to a computer game or to your phone or whatever, there should be testing done on these things ahead of time with your public, with your internal users, whoever. So these things can't be such a surprise when they do happen.
Yeah.
I mean, you should have some idea how this is going to be, welcomed. If it draws that much anger,
You better slow your roll.
exactly. Then it seems to think, well, are you really in touch with the people who are playing this?
Yeah, absolutely.
Or and I saw a lot of complaints about this too. If people said, well, if you're gonna make it, best of one, just say that from the beginning, be straightforward, and say that's just how it's gonna be. Kind of make up your minds on how things are gonna go, and just stick to it. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm sure we're gonna have numerous more updates and things along the way as they try to figure out the best approach to do these ranked plays and constructed tournaments.
Yeah, well, that's exactly right.
What do you think? I saw it this past weekend. It showed up. I don't know if you've seen it. These focuses that they have on like different game modes. Like I forget what his name is.
I have not paid any attention.
Giant Monster Mash or whatever it is.
Oh God, I have not paid any attention to that. I didn't even notice it, honestly.
Yeah, so they're gonna have it. I imagine this will be continuing going forward, where they kind of, I guess they do a spotlight on a professional player and some sort of game mode associated with that player that player comes up with. And this is, I think they're mostly draft related. Okay. But the most recent one here was let's see, is it even still available? I think it is. Oh, maybe it's gone away already. Oh, looks like I don't see it listed anymore. But it was like Brian Kibler's Big Monsters, where you would play every time you played a monster with 4 or greater power, you automatically get to draw a card or something. Was the extra rule. I don't know. Once again, they seem a little gimmicky to me, but whatever.
Yeah, I haven't really even noticed it quite yet.
Yeah,
I'll have to take a look at it. Although I'm not that interested, so I don't know.
I don't really care a whole lot. I guess if the rewards were
super juicy,
might give me a reason to do that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I don't know if I'm interested in competing for little reward.
Yeah, absolutely.
Doesn't seem worth it to me, but
Yeah, I would agree with that.
So I think that leads us to our picks for the week, right?
I think so. I think it's about time. I guess. So this week is Gruul week. We sort of almost forgot to mention that initially, but it is. So
Gruul week.
Green-red clan.
Green-red. Let's see. In the past, in the original Ravnica, we had Blood Rush.
Yep.
Bloodthirst. Bloodthirst was the original Ravnica. So if you got damaged, if the creature got damaged, it would get an additional +1, if I remember right. And then in Return to Ravnica, we had Blood Rush, where you could discard a card to give an additional bonus to a creature, like +3/+3 or whatever the case was. So we've seen a lot of mechanics where it's kind of pumping up the creature in some way.
It seems to me like the feeling that I've always gotten with the Gruul was that it's a race to the finish line. You're trying to get them, pounded down with efficiently costed creatures and crush their nuts ASAP.
Yeah.
Just like, and if you stalled, you were in trouble. But if you didn't, you were gonna, it was basically the attempt at steamrolling. Effectively is always how I imagine the Gruul guild to work.
I'd agree with that. Yeah, efficient creatures seems like big creatures, really high power toughness.
Yeah, efficiently costed.
Yeah,
and that's been my sort of my selection criteria as well, to sort of stay along those lines of fast, fast, efficient, and a lot of bang for your buck creatures to try to end them quickly.
So what's one of your picks for Gruul?
My first pick is probably my highest, I guess, confidence pick.
Okay.
Although I will say it's extremely inexpensive, so I really can't go wrong on this. There's no way it's going down. But this card is great, and I'm honestly quite surprised that it's not currently substantially more expensive. The only reason that I think it's not is because we don't have a very good I guess rush deck, at current, at least not in either a mono green or a green red.
Kind of wizards. I mean, these
true.
Wizard decks.
Those, that little direct damage. That is true. Those wizards can kind of pull it off. But I'm thinking along the lines of Curd Ape and like Savannah Lions Rush, where it's or for example, what's that? The Goblin that's 2/2, that's 1 mana. Those kinds of things. The very efficient, like dropping powerful creatures early and beating face as soon as possible. So my first card is from Ixalan, and it's a rare. It's a single green mana, and it's called Old Growth Dryads. And it's 1 mana. It's a 3/3 creature. So right there, you're talking deal. 1 mana, 1 green mana for a 3/3, and its drawback is, when Old Growth Dryads enters the battlefield, each opponent may search his or her library for a basic land and put it into play tapped. So that's it. So he has the same drawback as that one goblin, that goblin that drops on turn 1 and swings for 2/2. But this guy's a 3/3 without haste. That's the only difference. And this guy is 9 cents. So like a freaking dime.
Goodness.
So shortly after this episode, I will be perusing the TCG Player, and I will be purchasing many, many copies of this. So I will be scarfing up numerous of these boys because he's so cheap and he's so good. And if Gruul gets a deck that tries to use efficient creatures and wants to drop a 3/3 on turn 1, and who doesn't, this boy is just money.
That's really good. I have seen him before. Scott has played him against me.
Oh,
of course.
I'm sure. But you can't beat 10 cents for this guy.
Golly, no, not at all. I guess one note too about TCG Player, and I know we've used this resource, the Dawn Glare. I don't know if you've noticed. I just noticed this the other day, but just something to keep in mind, that it seems like the prices on the Dawn Glare are not always correct.
They do. They are not always. I would agree with that wholeheartedly.
Yeah. So I don't know if it's just that they don't update those pages. If it's only once a day or something, or what. Lag. But I have noticed is the prices are not always correct. Which kind of, I don't know, can lead to a little bit of confusion if you're trying to price out cards and they're giving you highlights, but the highlights are not correct. So just a word of caution, I guess.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
Because I looked at a card, it was what was it called? It's something that's just bounced in price, so I would suggest you sell it if you have it. That is the rapid hybridization. It went up greatly from its. It was down at like $1 or less, and then it's jumped up to almost $5. So that's a good card to dump if you got it.
I see.
Yeah. So. But if you looked on the Dawn Glare, it did not report that at the $4 price. It reported it at a much lower price.
Okay.
So, anyway. Okay. But speaking of big creatures and efficient creatures and things like that, I went in with it the same kind of attitude you did, but I was thinking, I guess, more big creatures, I guess. It was the thing that first came to mind. And I had a little bit of a hard time with my picks, but I think this one is pretty solid. This was from Core Set 2019. It's our old buddy Sarkhan, and he's got Sarkhan's Unsealing. It's 3 colorless, 1 red mana. It's an enchantment. Whenever you cast a creature spell with power 4, 5, or 6, Sarkhan's Unsealing deals 4 damage to any target. If you cast a creature spell with power 7 or greater, it deals 4 damage to each opponent and each creature and planeswalker they control.
Oh, wow.
So if
how
we're
much
talking
is how much is it to cast?
4 mana.
Okay.
So it's a little up there. But if we're talking about big creatures, we're looking at maybe some big dinos or something, or maybe some big dragons, as with Sarkhan. Sarkhan.
Absolutely.
You know, this is doing a 4 damage. It's it reminds me of what was the other one? It's like Where Ancients Tread, I think it was. Or something to that effect. It was back from Where Ancients Tread. Whenever a creature with power 5 or more comes into play, it deals 5 damage to target creature or player.
Oh, I remember that thing.
Yeah, it was good. That was way back in Shards of Alara. For the same kind of deal. You playing a creature with big power, it does a zap. That one was a little bit more expensive price-wise and had a higher starting cost, but it did a little bit more damage. But this one's a little bit lower. But
still good.
Still good.
This
one is well under $1. We're talking maybe 70 cents or less. So I think it could definitely rise above $1, maybe hit $2 or so. But if we're going to see more big things, that's a good card to complement that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think that's right. Very good. Very good.
So what else do you got?
So my second choice, I actually had a little bit of a challenging time narrowing down my second choice. So I may actually list both of these as a.
Yeah, I may do one. Go for it. I know I have probably two left. But
okay. I'll hit both of these relatively briefly. I had a hard time choosing between these
unless we pick the same one.
Watch us pick the same one. It's possible, but I don't know. I'm thinking maybe not. So the first one I think is, man, honestly, these two I would say are equal in my mind. One is cheaper, so that one might be the way to go just because you could get more copies of them and, it doesn't have to climb as high. But in any event, they're both rares. They are both Dominaria cards.
Uh-oh.
And I'm sure you've seen on the arena. Mm-hmm. And it's a red card. It's 2 red and 2 colorless. Okay. It is a Dominaria rare, and it's the 2-headed giant.
Oh, yeah.
2-headed giant is a 4 mana, 4/4 creature. Again, he's nicely on curve or slightly better than curve.
Yep.
And his is, and I'm actually very surprised we're seeing this, but it's got the coin flip mechanic. And Richard Garfield loves the freaking coin flips. That's what it is. So, but in any event, so his says, whenever 2-headed giant attacks, flip 2 coins. If both are heads, he gets double strike. If both are tails, he gets menace. Okay, and then if you get alternating coins, you get nothing. However, when you actually stop to think about that, 66% of the time he's getting something good. So there's only 3 options, and you can only get, when flipping 2 coins, 3 combinations. 2 of the 3 combinations gives you something good. Okay, so this is not like a die roll where you have to roll a 1 or a 2 out of 6. This is like a die roll where you get 1, 2, 3, 4 or out of 6, and you're getting something good. So 4 mana for 4/4, and 66% of the time when you attack, something good is going to happen for you. And if it's menace, harder to block, you're pounding through for damage.
Yep.
And if it's double strike, you're pounding through probably anyway, or crushing some creatures. Yeah. So,
I like the double strike better than the menace. But
either way,
they're both good.
Yeah, it still wins the race. Again, that Gruul racy speed to victory kind of mentality. And so that's one of my second, or I guess the secondary pick. But the other, I guess, part 2 of that is also a Dominaria card, also a rare, also a 4 mana casting cost. So, and this one's a green-red.
Okay, you lost me. You lost me on that.
Oh, okay, so we're safe. Okay. I was gonna say, I just have it. This one is a legendary creature, which also gives it commander capability.
Okay.
And this one is called the Grand Warlord Rada. And she is a 3/4 haste for 4 mana. And she says whenever... Now, she does not have to attack. She says whenever one or more creatures attacks, add that much mana to your mana pool in any combination of red or green. And the mana does not dissipate. You don't lose the mana between phase ends. So you can get all this. You can attack with 3 guys, get 3 extra mana, and drop another guy. So this, again, it really just goes toward that theme of winning hard and winning fast. You know, you're dropping your guys, you're attacking with them, and you're dropping more guys, and you have filled your field full of dudes. So, you know, I had a hard time choosing which one was better, honestly, the Grand Warlord or the Two-Headed. What do you think is better? What is your... Oh, okay, let me back that up by saying the Two-Headed is only 10 cents. The Grand Warlord is 40 cents. So...
Gosh, I mean, I like the Grand Warlord better as far as I think it has a better chance of going up in price because that seems like a more powerful ability.
Yeah.
But the price, the cost of the Two-Headed Giant is more appealing. But I would probably go with the Grand over the.
Yeah, I could see that one having casual appeal as well. Yeah. You know, it seems just like it's a neat mechanic. You know, so I would probably. I still had a tough time with it though, because it really just depends on what decks come to the fore with the release of the new set. But those are my picks.
That's pretty good. Yeah. That's pretty good. I like the Grand Warlord.
Nice.
When you were talking about Dominaria, so I'm definitely going Dominaria. I have one of my picks, and one that's 4 mana, except this one's all green.
Okay.
And we've talked about it. We talked about it the other day, I think. It is the Territorial Allosaurus.
Oh, yeah.
That's where I thought you were going with that.
Okay, he's good, too. I was close to
He is really good because he's 4 mana. He's a 5/5 dinosaur. And he has a kicker of 2 colors, 1 green. And when he enters the battlefield, if you kicked it, he fights another target creature.
Yeah.
So, really good. I mean, if you're just going to look at him alone, 4 for a 5/5, good. You know, if it's later game and you get him, well, do the kicker. And then he kills something on his way in.
Yeah.
So,
this is pretty efficient.
Very efficient little dinosaur. You could get him out very quick. Very early, and man, it's gonna be hard to stop a 5/5 on as early as turn 3, maybe.
Yeah, if you get him out a little earlier, even in turn 4, he's reasonably powerful. I mean,
turn 3 or 4, that's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
And he's fairly cheap right now. He's under 50 cents. I mean, we're talking maybe
40 cents.
40 cents or so. So
tough to beat
pretty
that.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
I really like him.
I might need to go in my dinosaur deck, my Jurassic Park deck.
Yeah.
He's pretty good.
So speaking of like dinosaurs, do you think we're going to see more dinosaurs, or are we done with dinosaurs?
I think we're done with the dinosaurs. I don't think we're seeing any more anytime soon. I think it's going to be a while before we see dinosaurs. I'm shocked that we saw dinosaurs in Dominaria, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew we had the dinosaurs in Ixalan, and I feel they were really stretching. They were like, oh, let's get dinosaurs in there. Let's get pirates in there. You know, like, what do nerds like? They love dinosaurs and pirates. They love ninjas too. We'll put ninjas in there later.
Ninjas next time.
You know, exactly. That'll be the next thing. We'll get ninjas somehow. Like
ninjas will be back.
You know, somehow. But I feel that our time of dinosaurs is probably coming to an end. But maybe I'm wrong. But
who knows?
I still think it was kind of an odd inclusion for this late in the game's development to have not had dinosaurs and now to all of a sudden have a boatload of dinosaurs. And you know, that's part of the problem when they don't have an organically developing tribe. You know, and what I mean by that is like when they have these organically developed tribes, it's like you get 1 or 2 merfolk released every set. You get 1 or 2 goblins released every set. And then after like fucking 20 sets, you actually could make a cool goblin deck or a cool cat deck or a cool whatever deck. But when they don't have the support of multiple, you know, releases of dinosaurs, what do? They have to make a boatload of them.
Yeah.
You know, they load us up with dinosaurs. Load us up with pirates.
I agree too. I feel
Almost
too.
too forced.
Yeah, very forced, and the dinosaurs seem like you're jumping the shark kind of deal. Like we got to go extreme and do silly things like a dinosaur. Yeah, that
Yeah.
sounds good because people know
Yeah.
what a dinosaur is, and they're
I feel
cool and
they
they're
should have just
big.
gone beast. It's like if they wanted to have dinosaurs, they should have just used beast.
Exactly. I was gonna say just the same thing. If you replace the word dinosaur with beast,
Yep.
you wouldn't know the difference.
And they had beasts before, so they could go in your old beast deck.
Exactly.
That's what I mean by the organic. I almost prefer them releasing small amounts of things that can get used in the. I don't know. That's my personal preference. But I understand why they do it, because they want to see people play dinosaurs. They want to push it. They want to push the pirates. They want to push that the pirates are female and that all the captains are women. And
Yeah, that was very strange as well.
I think that's their social justice warrior bent and appeal. They want to really fully clothe the women and have them all be the rulers and leaders, and have all the women be pirate captains and whoop ass pirates. So.
Yeah, I don't know about
Can't imagine there being a whole lot of women pirates in reality.
I wouldn't think so.
It doesn't seem like it would go over very well for the women on board a ship full of pirates.
No, not at all. My last pick is also a dinosaur, and I just saw this one. It sounded interesting to me, and maybe not as fitting Gruul so much. Maybe it would come more into Golgari, I guess. But might have room here as well. This is from Ixalan. It's the Death Gorge Scavenger. It's 2 colorless, 1 green. He's a dinosaur. It's a 3/2 creature. When the scavenger enters the battlefield or attacks, you may exile a target card from a graveyard. If a creature card is exiled, you gain 2 life. If a non-creature card is exiled, it gets +1/+1 until end of turn.
Okay.
So he can gain you life, or he can get bigger. I guess the thing I was thinking too about is just kind of graveyard effects and exiling cards. You've gotten some funniness around that, and you could potentially get rid of things that are in graveyard that are a problem. Kind
of like a scavenging ooze or whatever.
Exactly, and if you're getting them out early, let's see, you could probably get them out turn 2 at least. So at turn 3, he's attacking for a 3/2 and potentially a 4/3. So not too bad that early, and he could potentially net you life.
Get some life, exactly. Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah.
The only downside to him is his cost. His monetary cost is his downside.
He is, yeah. This is a little unfortunate. I try not to pick things that are of high cost, and he's on a little bit of the higher side for, I guess, around $1.50 or so.
Yeah, that looks right. Yep.
But he has potential.
He's got potential. Yeah, he does. If his +1/+1s were counters, man, I would be fully on board with this bad boy.
Absolutely, yeah. Counters would be unbelievable for him.
Yeah, that would be the
super powerful.
Absolutely. Yep. So as a recap, Andy had but the Death Gorge Scavenger, had the Territorial Allosaurus.
Roar.
And what now?
Roar.
Oh, the big dinos. And what was your first one?
The Sarkhan's Unsealing.
Oh, that's right, the Unsealing. Okay, very good. And then I had the Old Growth Dryads and the Two-Headed Giant and the Rada.
The Grand Warlord or Rada.
Excuse me. And that about wraps it up for this week. And just to reiterate, make sure you go check out the website. It's loaded with goodies there. And always be sure to check us out on YouTube if that's your jam. If you'd rather just have YouTube on in the background instead of the SoundCloud, I totally get that. And wherever you want to find your content, we're trying to be there. So just make sure you make use of it. And until next time, may your picks always be profitable.